What's going on, everybody? This is Raw Dawg Sports. I am Mike. That is Evo. You're killing me, Smalls. And we got a big week 3 of football to bet. We got Blitz's big ass bet. We got a lot of injuries to talk about in these games as well. Man, I am pumped. Evo, my man, welcome in. How you doing? The bald head is fucking looking good. I like it. It looks
still bald.
Fantastic.
Haven't gone to Turkey yet. But it's definitely possible. I don't know.
You got a round head, brother. It's a round head. It's a good head for being a bald man.
You know, I know it's not, but it just feels like such a backhanded compliment to get that from people, because I get that so often. I get a lot of, like, you got a good head for a bald head. I'm like, but that's like kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I do,
but I get it. It's all good. What's up, Vanilla Gorilla? We're gonna find a way to get together today, Vanilla Gorilla.
Agreed. I think we should absolutely do that, because I'm down for a talk as well, guys. So we'll just kind of do a little promo right now for everybody who is tuning in. Thank you very much for being here. You can check out all the content that we create at the No Sleeves Network at nosleevesnetwork.com. That is this show, the talk. There's a couple video game streams, blogs. A lot of blogs have been coming out. Producer Amber has been crushing blogs recently, as well as our guy that we kind of see behind the scenes. You'll see him on the talk, Byron. Been crushing out a lot of blogs with his Ginger Snap series. So shout out to everybody who's helped us there, and to everybody tuning in. If you want to go check out more stuff, you can go to that website, nosleevesnetwork.com. But my man, Evo, we got a lot of things to get into, brother. We got 15 games to pick today, plus a parlay from Blitz. But before we do that, we got to recap a game that was on Thursday night.
Yeah, we had the Dolphins going up to Buffalo to play the Bills. The maligned Dolphins, which, you know, it seemed like they were teetering on the brink of full turnover of that coaching staff and potentially players and everything. And I don't know that the needle moved one way or the other too much, because the game stayed relatively competitive through most of the game until the Bills kind of shut it down at the end on a Tua Tagovailoa interception. Bills get the dub, 31-21. I got my prediction correct. Your minus 11.5 points.
Yeah, I didn't quite get there.
Just barely didn't meet that because it was a 10-point spread there. Which, you know,
missed kicks, man. Missed kicks have been plaguing teams all across the NFL. It's plaguing bettors as well.
Yeah, and that Prater kick was not like, oh, he missed it. It was.
It's the meme from Madden. He literally just pointed that bitch to the left and was like, shank.
It's not the meme from Madden. That meme is Blair Walsh of the Vikings in Madden. Wide left. God, it's terrible, and it lives forever. But look, it was a pretty steady Eddie game for the Bills. They seemed like they didn't really uncork like they normally do, and it felt like they almost seemed like they didn't need to. Like, I feel like there wasn't. Like, it's not concerning to me that the Bills didn't go off. It just felt like they were just there to just kind of conduct business and knew that they were going to get the win at the end. And the fact that it was 21-21 for a while into the fourth quarter kind of made it concerning, where it's like, hey, you guys understand that this is a bad team that you should probably beat up on and just go ahead and get the dub. And of course they finally did, you know, but it did kind of start to come off of that Tua interception. And the Dolphins looked better because they were able to put up points. The defense did have some times when they were able to stop this Bills team. despite being very injury depleted. I think that they came into the game with 4 cornerbacks out. They had more injuries that happened. Jack Jones did a little bit better than I expected in the defensive backfield for the Dolphins, but it was just like it was a closer game than you would like to see. And it was also extremely frustrating for me because I had multiple parlays going in this game, player
Just
props,
barely.
and just all of them just barely didn't hit for the most part. It was like 9 yards away on a couple of them.
One catch shy on for Keon Coleman that he had, but that was brought back on a penalty.
Yeah, it was all sorts of little ticky tack things that would have won me a bunch of money. So that was frustrating for the night. But at the end of the day, good game by the Bills. Josh Allen gets 3 touchdowns. James Cook goes for over 100 and a touchdown. I think that, I would have liked to have seen a lot more Achane out there for the Dolphins. But it was a really good night for Dalton Kincaid as well. 5 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown. He's showing to be a pretty decent part of that offense. But Bills go to 3-0, 2-0 at home, and the Dolphins take yet another L. And now at 0-3, I guess Stephen Ross has come out and said, like, the comments were made to the broadcasting crew in the pre-production meetings that he's not looking to make a change at head coach. He doesn't, he likes McDaniels. He likes some of the vision and things like that. However, there was the caveat of, if players stop playing and if things, continue to get worse, then obviously changes have to be made. So it was kind of that wishy-washy. It's what you kind of expect from an owner. They're not going to come out and be like, okay, I shouldn't say they're not going to come out and immediately trash their coach because Jerry Bill, they can do anything they want. There's a lot of owners that would do that. But Ross was basically like doing the correct PR line. Oh no, I love my guy. Like I have faith in him, blah, blah, blah. But he also threw out there like, things keep going bad. We got to look at the state of the franchise. And at 0-3 right now, I think the 0-4 hole is really the nail in the coffin for a lot of teams as far as playoff hopes. And once you hit 0-4, which I'm not sure if this Dolphins team is going to lose 4 in a row. I mean, they are not good, but next week they play the Jets. So that's definitely more of a gettable matchup, especially if they play like they did versus the Bills. But 0-4, that is an extremely tough hole to get out of. And I think that's when we're going to start seeing a lot more serious talks about what do we do with this coach, his coaching staff? Do we start offloading some of these players like Tyreek Hill, who is continually gaining trade interest?
Yeah, and he's going to continue to gain trade interest. I mean, that's not going anywhere. As they continue to get worse, you can see that the connection between him and Tua is not there either. Tua is constantly underthrowing him. So
the one thing that's really going to stymie this is if we continue to hear Al Michaels go out there and talk about his domestic violence issues mid broadcast, which was interesting. Like I noticed it and kind of chuckled, and then I obviously wasn't the only one that picked up on it because we had a lot of memes and things like that being like, man, Al Michaels did him real dirty. Like, Tyreek Hill having a good night. Also being investigated by the league for allegedly beating up his ex or something like that, or his baby mama, one of them. And I was like, God damn, okay. But they typically don't get too in the nitty gritty in the broadcasts about like the off the field stuff. They'll mention like, yeah, this guy's got some off the field issues that the NFL's looking into, but then they were just like, nah, apparently, allegedly, beat the shit out of his baby mama, and so he's being investigated by the league after that nice catch there. And I was like, damn, this is supposed to be a little more about the sports part of it, not the off the field. But it was kind of wild. That depending on how that continues going forward, could cause some possible issues if they were looking to make a trade. It could lower his value a little bit, maybe. But even so, I think
makes it easier to trade him though if his value comes down.
For sure, it makes it easier to trade him. It's not as easy of a pill to swallow if you're the Dolphins. I mean, you want to sell high, right? And he's had 2 good games in a row now. So, like, this kind of would be the time to move him because if negative stuff comes out about this domestic violence, then obviously that's going to tank him. But 2 good games in a row on a bad team that could be sellers. Like, this is Miami's time to offload him.
Yeah. I mean, they got a kicker. I don't want the Younghoe.
You do or you don't?
I don't want Younghoe Koo, man.
Why?
Because he can't kick indoors. He damn sure ain't gonna be able to kick in Cleveland.
He's been a pretty solid kicker up until
he's got
recently.
the yips right now, man. It has caused him to get cut. So
yeah. And look, the guy that cut him for, I do absolutely love John Parker Romo. It's not Parker Romo that keeps on getting put around. His name is John Parker Romo. Put some fucking respect on the name. And former Vikings kicker. Did great for us last year when we pulled him off the street for Big Dick Bill Reichard when he was injured for a little bit. So I'm happy to see him getting a gig. I hated watching him kick against us last week, but obviously Falcons got themselves a good one. But I think Younghoe Koo is like his story isn't done because he was a pretty solid and consistent kicker, and then has had obviously some issues recently. So look, if you want to stick with Schmidt,
I don't want to do that either.
Koo, I'd take Koo over Schmidt.
Honestly, I'm willing to go down and give a kicker from fucking high school a shot.
I mean, it's a bold statement.
My man, the kicking game has been atrocious. And it's bad in college too. They're missing extra points in college, and that shit's still from the 2.5.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see.
So listen, I'm a big fan of Pat McAfee. I don't want to trash on kickers and punters too much, but god damn, it's been bad this year.
Yeah, look, of course, as a father, you kind of want to guide your kids towards more of the cooler positions in sports. But there is a hell of an argument to be made about this is one of the physically easier jobs. You just have to focus on one thing. You can get these kids in camps now for kicking specifically early. You're starting kickers early. And is there a lot of mental pressure? Sure, but you can start to callous a brain towards the sort of mental pressure, and you can make a hell of a living doing relatively little work compared to everyone else. I mean, you just got to be able to put up with the death threats and all that bullshit.
Yeah, it's part of the gig when you're a kicker, apparently, because
probably
it feels like everybody gets them now. Well, with how bad they miss these fucking kicks,
dude. I mean, the way that
I am not justifying anybody who receives death threats for missing a kick. No kicker should receive a death threat for missing a kick.
But it's more than just the kickers. I mean, any player goes out there and makes a mistake, and they're immediately receiving insane vitriol and hate, which is wild. But it's just something to think about. I mean, if I could go back, remove all the concussions, be a kicker, I would have to heavily consider it.
Yeah, it's probably worth it. I mean, considering how long. I don't know, man. I think that would be fucking boring.
It would, but think about
so fucking boring.
I would absolutely want to lean more towards the Sebastian Janikowski route.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, I would definitely have to lean into the fucking bro aspect of being a kicker.
Yeah. But I guess this show, formerly known as the Lyman Lounge, we don't need to focus too much on the kickers right now.
No,
we can get back into the meat and potatoes of this, which is kind of what we're about. And look, it's betting. Betting is big for us. Obviously, we love football, but we had hell of a week previously. You're 65.5 and some odd change percentage wise on your picks, 78.1 for me, and we want to continue that going forward. So we want to give the people some good picks here, some good thoughts on all of these games coming up tomorrow and Monday.
Absolutely. And you brought it up, man. One of the things that we love to do, we love to gamble. That's kind of what the show is about quite a bit during the football season. One of the other things that we are about, though, is veterans. Evo and I are both Army veterans. And I actually have a press release right here that I want to get put out. A friend of the show, Matt Eck, sent this to me. So the Cleveland Veterans Day Parade returns on Tuesday, November 11th, 2025 at 12:30 p.m. The parade will start at Cleveland City Hall and conclude at Skylight Park, where the city will host its first ever Veterans Day celebration. So there will be a big parade, and then there will be over 100 different vendors and things downstairs at the park or whatever, to do their Veterans Day celebration. So this is going to be a really cool event, the first time they've ever done this. So thank you to Matt for blasting this over to us so we can put that out for them as well. We'll try to do this more as it gets a little bit closer. Also, happy birthday to producer Amber on November 11th when that comes around as well. I never forget that one. Never. But with that, man, I'm ready to go. We don't do the ad reads on these shows, so we had something a little extra.
Yeah, we look, a lot of games to get through. If we start doing our ad reads and everything like that for the sponsorships, then people are going to think that the sponsors are involved with the betting and the gambling, and that's just too, there's too much going on there. We want to give you our bets 100% free here every week on Raw Dawg Sports. So to kick it off, we'll get right into game one. Vegas Raiders going into Washington versus the Commanders. Commanders are favored in this one, -3 on the spread, over under a 43.5. And Jaden Daniels is officially ruled out. Marcus Mariota will be the starter for this game. Thoughts, Mike? Where are you going?
Yeah, so as soon as I hear Jaden Daniels out, I immediately think that this Commanders team is going to struggle. Jaden Daniels is, in my mind, one of the most special young quarterbacks that I've ever seen. So the fact that they are favored in this game is surprising to me. They are 3-point favorites in this with Marcus Mariota starting. The Raiders, while I understand, are, kind of finding out who they are still. There's a lot of quality talent on that Raiders team. They're not missing really any of their starters that I'm aware of. And the defense for the Raiders has been spectacular, specifically their run defense. So you have a backup quarterback going in with Marcus Mariota going up against a defense that's been really good against the run. So they're going to have to depend on Marcus Mariota in this game. I don't know how they're going to do that. I'm on the Raiders +3 here. I like that a lot.
So I'm actually sticking with the Commanders on the money line on this one, because Mariota, while I think obviously is a downgrade from Jaden Daniels, we have historical relevance with this, where Mariota came in last year and started for Jaden Daniels and absolutely balled out. There actually wasn't too much of a statistical drop off, and I think he fits in with that scheme really well, which is exactly why they brought him in there. He threw week 7 last year versus the Panthers. I mean, that's the caveat there. 18 to 23, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, and it was a 40-7 victory. So there was a bit of a rout there. He's done well playing there, and I think that's why the betting line didn't shift. I mean, it shifted significantly, but it's still in favor of the Commanders. I think it was at -6.5 at one point, and it's now down to -3. And it's a home game. Like, I think Mariota doesn't get as much love as he should as a backup quarterback, specifically within this system. Some things definitely haven't worked out great for the Commanders this year. Like, they do not look as good and as clean as they were last year, but I still think they're a really good squad. And the way that Vegas played last week with the 3 interceptions from Geno is a little bit scary, though. He tends to kind of play good outside. Looking for a bounce back from Geno. The big thing for me is Ashton Jeanty. He hasn't looked spectacular yet as a runner for the Raiders. I think that he's good after contact and good with elusiveness, but his yards per carry is the worst in the league or something like that, like 32nd. They need to get that running game going to try to control that game script a little bit. Either way, I'm going Washington money line on this one. All right. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons going into Carolina versus the Panthers. Falcons had a good showing last week versus my Vikings. And it did make me start to think back and question a little bit how much we've trashed this Falcons defense, specifically the pass rush. And the pass rush got home, but they did have a lot of free rushes last week. It was just a really bad showing for my Vikings. And so you have to kind of take things with a grain of salt a little bit. That being said, the Panthers aren't showing me a whole lot this year. They are looking like Carolina Panthers of old. And 5.5 is still a little scary for me on this one. But I don't know that I can truly be taking the Panthers at home. Where are you going here, Mike?
Man, so I'm also very much of the ilk that the Panthers have regressed to where we thought they were last year. They have gotten not any better. The Falcons have played better than expected. I think that there are warts on that team. Like, I think that the quarterback spot, while he is still a young quarterback, he is not a finished product by any means. If he gets moved off the spot, I mean, Michael Penix is going to miss, and he's going to miss high. So there could be, I think that turnover is going to be a big issue for him for a lot of his career. But, I mean, when he's not under pressure, he's been fantastic. And he's got a live arm. And the Panthers, I don't know that they're going to be able to bring much pressure. They're not going to get home too much. That defense is terrible. So I'm taking Michael Penix and the Falcons on the money line. I'm not dropping any points.
Yeah, I'm going the same route. Falcons money line. I feel like they're a better team than the Panthers, and that's not saying a ton right now. I'm not feeling good enough to drop all those points, but they just have one thing they need to do, and that's focus on getting Bijan the ball. If they're able to run the ball like they did last week, it's going to keep them in pretty much every game that they play. Like that sort of run game, extremely impressive. Bijan is extremely impressive. So I think you focus on that and you have a winning game script. All right. Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers versus your Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Packers currently favored minus 7.5 points as road favorites, over under a 41.5.
Yeah. So I think we'll score more points this week playing at home. I think that the Packers will also score more points, probably more points than us. So I think that 41.5 is a little low. I think we're going to get 17 at the least. Maybe we'll get to 20. I don't know if Kevin is capable of doing that. But if we get 17, we could lose this thing fucking 17 to, I don't know, 27. That feels like it's doable. That gives me an over. So 41.5 is not enough. I'm taking an over on the Browns Packers.
All right. Hoping for a bit of a higher scoring game there. For me, I'm going Green Bay on the money line here, keeping it simple. Green Bay hasn't impressed me this year, and this sounds just like Minnesota Vikings fandom and hate on Green Bay. They haven't impressed me, but that doesn't mean that they haven't been a good team this year. They are very, very consistent. Bland, but consistent. They're playing a good brand of defense. No offense has really shown up and shown them anything, and I don't know that your guys' offense is going to do that this week, because compared to the Lions' offense and the Commanders' offense, those guys have shown pretty consistently that they can be big-time scorers, and they both have been not completely shut down, but very well neutered. And that Green Bay offense, while again it doesn't super impress me or anything like that, and I'm not the biggest Jordan Love fan, they still just seem to be steady Eddie. They get their points just enough, they get the win and they are able to keep a comfortable lead, and then they don't, I don't want to say they take their foot off the gas, but they're just very, very consistent at just being good, scoring their points, doing their thing, getting the win. And I feel like that's what it's going to be here. It's just going to be, they're going to go in, they're not going to blow you guys out, they're going to get the win, and they're going to hold your offense at bay. So I'm interested to see if Myles Garrett can get home on Jordan Love a couple times this week. I would love to see some hits there and rile them up a little bit.
Great.
Easy, safe type of pick here, though, is just the Green Bay money line for me.
Understood. Before we move on to the next one, brother, I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to try to pop it up. Producer Amber asked if we could show the flyer for that Veterans Day parade. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. Boom. There you go. So everything that's going to be taking place, you know what? And we can also blast this out on our socials as well to share. But there you go. Producer Amber now has a chance to cut that into the show or into a clip.
Awesome. Very cool. All righty. Next up, We have the Pittsburgh Steelers going into New England versus the Patriots. Patriots are home dogs, plus 1.5 points, minus 1.5 for the Steelers, over under of 44.5. Steelers kind of looked more like what we expected from them last week. And that defense is still playing pretty bad for the Steelers. Patriots, again, a rebuilding team, well coached, putting up a little bit of a fight. Mike, thoughts on this one?
I mean, at this point, Aaron Rodgers is kind of showing that he's washed. He has been not, I don't want to say he has been terrible. I mean, because they've won. But he has been a large reason why they lost the last game, why the other game was so goddamn close. Their defense has not been spectacular either. Like, when is JJ Watt going to show up? JJ Watt going to show up and get a fucking sack? Or TJ Watt. That's his, not JJ. TJ.
The current
JJ's
Watt.
not showing up. Yeah, whichever goddamn Watt it is. I can't remember who it is because he hasn't gotten a sack in so fucking long. So
it's been like 15 weeks or something like that.
It's a long time. But the Patriots are still scrambling. There's still not enough juice offensively in my mind. I think that the Steelers are a better team overall, even though that they have a ton of fucking holes and ton of problems. But I'm going to take the Steelers on the money line. I'm not dropping any points. I just think the Steelers would get this one. But I would not be surprised, shocked at all if they find a way to lose this game to the Patriots.
All right. And look, for me, it's that Steelers defense. Until the Steelers defense starts showing up, I don't think the Steelers offense is going to be able to remain competitive with them, because you do need to give rest to that old man back there playing quarterback, because he's going to look washed the more and more that you put him out there, unless he's in a shootout with his old team where he's got some personal vindictive vendetta. I don't think he has one here versus the Patriots or Vrabel or anything like that. And you already saw a little bit of chippiness on the sideline from that Pittsburgh team. But again, it's the most expensive defense in football, and they just have not looked like a Pittsburgh defense, let alone the most expensive defense in football. And then you have the Patriots, who were able to go out there and put up a healthy amount of points. I think 33 points versus a bad defense from the Dolphins, but they were only going to win. And Drake May's only getting better every week that he plays. I think that they could keep this one relatively close playing there in New England. I'm going to take the Patriots plus the 1.5. I'll take the dog here.
Nice. Patriots plus 1.5.
Yes, sir. Next up, LA Rams going into Philly versus the Eagles and the Tush push, which is all the rave, all the conversation. Apparently, the NFL says they are going to be calling this play closer. And look, let's be abundantly clear. When the Eagles are running the tush push, they have committed penalties on it pretty much every time, whether it is false starts or players lining up offsides.
So has the defense.
So has the defense. That was very clear with the Chiefs. They also were offsides. That being said, I want to personally say I don't think the play should be banned. I think it just needs to be officiated correctly. It is one of the most bland tapioca plays out there. But you just got to find a way to stop it. It's still football. It is a rugby storm, but it's still football. Just officiate it correctly, and I think that we'll start to see things change. Look, just because 31 other teams fucking suck at stopping it doesn't mean that it should be banned. It just means you need to get fucking better. Like, it's not going to last forever with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right.
They're going to have offensive linemen change in and change out through the years. Some point in time, Jalen Hurts is going to be done playing quarterback or done playing quarterback for the Eagles. The same stuff is going to change over time.
Yep.
And they're not going to be the best at it forever. That being said, you already hear about teams like the Bucs looking ahead and possibly signing their UDFA, that's 450-pound Watson, the gigantic defensive lineman, to the practice squad just to be able to put him out there as a bowling ball.
Say they run into the fucking Eagles in the NFC Championship game, and you got to stop the tush push. That might be the one person you want out there. Like,
find the most morbidly obese athletic guy.
Yeah.
And put him out there just to clog it up, because he is 2 players in one, essentially, at that point.
Right.
That being said, that's not what the game is right now. The game is LA Rams going into Philadelphia versus this Eagles team. Eagles are favored -3.5, over under of 44.5. Where are you going here, Mike?
I don't think the Eagles have impressed me really enough, but the Rams have. The Rams being dogs here makes me very excited, and the fact that there's a hook on it, even more so. Rams +3.5 is where I'm going. Their offense has been spectacular. They've kept him clean. They are finding ways to get it done. Their defense still kind of a lot of guys you may not know, but they're fucking effective. So Rams +3.5.
And I'm going to be following suit here. Look, the Eagles, again, all credit to them and where they're at right now. They are also very consistent. But I haven't seen them in an actual grudge match yet where they have to start really pushing things offensively. Saquon is phenomenal. That offensive line is phenomenal. Jalen Hurts has thrown for less than 200 yards, I think, in every game this year. Yeah. He hasn't had to throw the ball around. A.J. Brown is not really involved. The passing game overall is just kind of mediocre right now. And part of it is because they haven't had to have much of a passing game. And the defense has shown some chinks in the armor. But the Rams have been pretty damn good on offense. They've been pretty damn good on defense. And 3.5 points, keeping this game within a field goal, I think is absolutely possible. I think the Rams can win this one, but if you give me points, I'm gonna take the points. So yeah, give me Rams +3.5. Now, before we move on, we've had a couple comments here.
We have.
Shadur is poopy, and A-Rod is better and Sigma.
Okay.
6'7" aura, apparently, in with the new kid lingo in here. And Shadur is built like poop emoji. With the George Floyd on there.
This is ridiculous. 6'7" aura.
Also, Nick Chubb has been watching since 2020. I feel like this is Roberto Gussolini's fucking.
This is a burner. This is somebody's burner.
His burner. But in a more serious comment here, would you trade Garrett Wilson for MHJ 10-man standard PPR league? Honestly, it's pretty close to me because Garrett Wilson hasn't been doing it for me this year. Neither has MSJ. But
I want to see what happens with Tyrod.
I trust the Marvin Harrison offense around him a little bit more, I think, than I do with that Jets offense right now, which is predicated on the run. So I would consider that one, and it's really more of a plum pick there. If you like Marvin Harrison Jr. a little bit more than Garrett Wilson, just as a player overall, I would consider it on a PPR league.
I think I would stick with Garrett Wilson and here's the thing: I wanted to see what happens with Tyrod because I think the offense is going to change a little bit schematically when you don't have, your running quarterback out there in Justin Fields.
It has to.
So if we can see that they can construct a passing offense and a quarterback can kind of find his spots, that means that can be done with Justin Fields as well. I would hold on to it for a week. Don't put that one up there.
I'm sorry. No problem. But
the comment section on Twitter can be a dark, dark place, people.
This ain't Twitter, brother. That's YouTube.
Oh, yeah, on YouTube. Everywhere. It's dark everywhere.
That's YouTube. But that
comment sections are mean, man.
My concern there, and I get what you're saying, the offense is definitely going to change, but we're looking at Justin Fields. There's still a question whether or not he was in a clear protocol or not in play. I think he'll be back by next week, and the offense goes back and reverts back to what it's meant to be there with the Jets, which is more of a run-heavy offense. And so I can't fully trust in the passing game enough to give all of my thoughts towards Garrett Wilson being even a wide receiver 2 or 3 in fantasy. It's a lot more of Marvin Harrison Jr. is part of an offense that does know how to pass, does like to pass, has passing options. And so that's a little bit of projection, but can't completely say like, oh, that's a slam dunk or anything, but I would absolutely consider that trade. That's worthwhile and one that I would mull over. Next up, we have our Indianapolis Colts and Indiana Jones going versus the Tennessee Titans. Titans are home dogs, plus 4.5 for the Titans, minus 4.5 for the Colts, over under of 43.5. Does the show continue on for Indiana Jones and this Colts offense?
So at some point, there's going to have to pull back a little bit, you think, right?
You would expect a regression to the mean for Daniel Jones in this offense. You would expect that.
At some point.
I'm not going there this week.
I don't think I'm going there this week either. I'm not dropping any points, but the Titans haven't done enough offensively to prove that. I think that even if the Colts play a mediocre game, with the way they run the ball, they're going to put up 24 points. And the Titans, outside of the one like incredible throw across the field that he shouldn't have made, like there has not been a ton to write home about in that Titans offense. He's made good throws. His receivers have completely fucked him over though. So, I mean, I'm Colts money line.
Yeah, I'm doing Indianapolis money line as well. If it wasn't 4.5, if this was 3.5, I'd actually be dropping the points here. I think that's enough for me. I was right at that edge where it's like I feel good enough at the Colts right now. Where look, Cam Bynum is balling out, former Viking, on that defense. Interception week 1, interception week 2, doing great things in that secondary. The secondary is revamped overall for that Colts team, and like we said all along, that offense has all the pieces minus a quarterback. Well, Daniel Jones is going out there and playing fucking quarterback. He's driving the Lambo. He ain't crashing it. And hell, he's starting to fucking accelerate a little bit more. It seems like he's doing good things, not putting the ball in harm's way, getting it out to all his weapons, and that's all you can ask for. They built that offense to be high-powered and just has not had a driver for a while. He's shown that he can drive a little bit, man. Yeah. And so, look, another week of this, even though it is going up against a Titans team, and I'm probably going to be really bought in on this Colts team and their offense and their capability.
They're about to be 3-0 after being given a gift last week.
Yeah. So that's the thing is they did play a good Broncos team last week, and they got the win. Like they're going to have to be given some serious cred here before too long. So Colts money line for me and you. Moving on to our next one, talking about the Jets again. Going into Tampa Bay versus the Bucks. Bucks minus 6.5. Favorites there, over under of 43.5. Biggest question here, Emeka Buka just got a notification. He's been questionable all week, hasn't practiced 2 of the days. Expected to play in this one. Okay, nice. So going up against the Jets team that does have Tyrod Taylor going out as their new quarterback, at least for this week. Probably moving to a little bit less of the run heavy, maybe a little more pass heavy. Then again, you put in a backup and you do tend to try to stick with the run a little bit. And Breece Hall has been doing decent this year so far as their primary back. But it's a different type of running attack when you don't have a run first quarterback in Justin Fields. And 6.5 points for me is a lot. But this Bucks offense, now I know that Emeka's going to be out there, I think that they can put up that 6.5. It's just they've played every game so far close this year. It's come down to last drives there for the Bucks to go down and score. I'm going Bucks money line on this one just because it is safer. I do think the Bucks are a better team here. But I like the Bucks by more than a touchdown. I just can't trust it until I see them actually start to do that to people, which they haven't done this year.
Right. So I'm right there with you, man. I'm tailing on Bucks money line. The running game has been really good. Baker hasn't necessarily thrown for a lot of yards, but he has done what he's needed to do to win games. I mean, 2 game-winning drives now. You would like to see them kind of put their foot down on somebody. Jesus, I can't talk. But I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen today. So I think 6.5 is a lot. This Jets team is, I think, capable of putting up some points and playing decent defense. Last week was a fucking tough week. But they went toe to toe with the Steelers. Now, obviously, we think the Steelers are maybe not so great, but I think there's some juice in that offense. I just don't know if there's enough to win. I'm damn sure not enough.
Yeah. Here's kind of my bold call right now is I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing a brand of football that is reminiscent of last year's Chiefs. They aren't blowing anyone out. They're getting the wins. They've got a quarterback that's going out and making those late game drives. And look, it is just week 3 now. We've only seen 2 weeks of football, but it's a veteran team. A lot of veteran players in there. They're dealing with some injuries, not unlike the Chiefs, a very veteran team deal with some injuries. They do it just enough to get the win. They're not necessarily covering the spreads or anything like that, but they are getting the wins, and you can't argue against that. Solid defense, offense that gets it done when it needs to get done. I think they got better playmakers there in Tampa Bay than the Chiefs did last year on offense. But it's kind of reminiscent of that to me, where they haven't throttled anybody or anything like that. They're just consistently good. So interesting to kind of watch for going forward how this Bucs team performs and if there's any more similarities there. Next up, Cincinnati Bengals without Joe Burrow, who underwent surgery on his toe, go into Minnesota versus my Vikings. Also without their starting quarterback, we got Carson Wentz, the essentially hometown guy who grew up a Vikings fan, went to a bunch of Vikings games as a kid. Starting at quarterback for us, former MVP candidate Carson Wentz. Something I never thought I would say, Carson Wentz playing for the Vikings, to be completely honest, because I never have really been a Carson Wentz fan. But right now the Vikings are favored -3 points over under of 42.5. And I feel like I've seen this game script before. Like, as a Vikings fan, a veteran quarterback comes in and plays, and he's going to ball the fuck out. And it also is, do I want to see us win the game? Absolutely. But I don't want like quarterback controversy or question marks about whether JJ should come back in when he's ready to play. The biggest thing for me in this game, because it is 2 backup quarterbacks going in there, and I think that both Wentz and I can't think of his name now, Jake Browning, for the Bengals, I do think that both of them can be higher end backup quarterbacks. Browning has shown in the past when he's had to play for Burrow that he can do a decent job.
Yeah.
Not last week. I mean, 3 interceptions, got the win, but 3 interceptions in limited play. Both of them can play good, but my biggest question mark here for my Vikings, at least, is when the fuck is Christian Jerisaw going to play? Because I think that completely changes the offensive line. Just like when Trent Williams is out for the 49ers, when Christian Jerisaw is out for the Vikings, it completely changes up the protection. Also going to be without center Ryan Kelly, playing former 7th round pick Juergens. That's scary to me. But again, it's going to be Jordan Mason heavy with the run. I think Carson Wentz will be able to play the veteran role, get the ball out quick to his playmakers, a lot more quick slants and stuff like that to Jefferson and Hawkinson. So I like my Vikings to win. I like us to probably win by a touchdown, but I'm just going to take the money line because it's a little bit safer, because we haven't seen Carson Wentz play real ball consistently. I mean, yeah, he played a little bit last year for the Chiefs, but I feel like I've seen this script before. Kevin O'Connell takes veteran cornerback in a week and makes him look fucking fantastic. It's a thing that he does.
I mean, yeah, sure. It's Carson Wentz, though. So he's been around a lot of guys who are really good offensive coaches. And I think that at one point, Carson Wentz was a competent quarterback. I think when he got injured and all the things that kind of derailed from there, not being the winning quarterback and all the controversy with him leaving the Eagles and how, Big Pole Foles stole his job. I think that kind of fucked with him, man. Like he has been in his head a lot. Browning, for all of the warts of last week, has shown that he can be really competent, and it's in the same system. Nothing for Browning has changed. Wentz is learning a new system. Now, while KOC is the quarterback whisperer that we think, it's still new to Wentz. So I'm going to take the Bengals plus the points here. I think you guys can win, but Bengals plus the points feels better to me just because I trust Browning more than I trust Carson Wentz.
I will push back on you ever so slightly here.
Okay.
Wentz, when he left the Eagles, went to the Colts, bad team. Played bad team. Washington Commanders, bad team. His most recent stops were last year with Andy Reid, and obviously he's not competing with Patrick Mahomes. So good offense, but obviously he's in a backup role at that point. Before that, LA Rams. McVay system, which he has said in interviews, yeah, it's McVay system, slight verbiage change, but I understand it, and playing for Kevin O'Connell. So there is actually some schematic similarities there. Also, being a veteran quarterback, you typically can pick up these things a little bit quicker than the average Joe. I think that his career absolutely got derailed by that knee injury, but then he jumped from place to place with bad teams around him, and played well, at least with the Colts, up until the end, where they had a playoff spot basically locked down and they lost to like a bad Jags team, things like that. Terrible. And so he did have some blue screen of death moments there for sure. But I think that he does have, some understanding of the system already and was put in bad spots. He's going into a relatively ready-made system as far as playmakers there in Minnesota, where I think that he doesn't have to be the guy. He just has to run a simplified offense to do well. That being said, Browning, yes, same system. He beat my Vikings a couple of years ago when he played for Joe Burrow with a bad defense that was out there. But Burrow, obviously would have been a lot more scary here. Browning, decent quarterback, but doesn't scare me nearly as much. I could see Cincinnati keeping with this within 3 points if I just didn't understand like the backline narrative of KOC doing crazy shit with fucking veteran quarterbacks, and that's for me, this is definitely more of a plum field of game script type thing of the NFL, not like.
Listen, if it doesn't work out, that Carson Wentz fucking plays a beautiful game and KOC gets them all ready, I'm not going to blame KOC. I'm not going to take away his credit as a quarterback whisperer. So don't worry. I'm going to blame Carson fucking Wentz.
Yeah, unless the play calling from Kevin O'Connell is bad again.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, look, if he does what he did to fucking JJ last week, man,
it'd be tough. Look, there's a big contingent in Minnesota that is kind of hoping to see Wentz struggle and us putting our other backup, Max Brosmer, undrafted free agent from Minnesota Golden Gophers, looked very good in the preseason. And the crazy rumblings that I've heard, that the similarities are that Max Brosmer might be our Brock Purdy. You have high first round pick, struggles. Lance and McCarthy have had like the same injuries their first 2 years, and then you have undrafted guy or late drafted guy.
Fucking script writers didn't even try; they just recycled an old season.
Yeah. Which, look, I love Brosmer. I think that he could be a great backup quarterback, and I wouldn't mind seeing him get out there and play a little bit. But honestly, I want to win games to keep us within the race for the division. So, hoping the best for Wentz out there. Next up, Houston Texans versus Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags are favored in this one at home, -1.5, over under of 43.5. I was very surprised by this spread. I expected the Texans to be favored. I didn't expect it to be within 1.5. That's your home field advantage spread right there, where they're counting these two teams as evenly matched, essentially. So, yeah, where are you going here, Mike?
This happens, probably early every year. We talk about, I don't understand why the spread is this way.
But a lot of times we're wrong when we say that.
Exactly, and it sucks. Vegas almost always knows something that we don't. I just have a really hard time believing that the Texans are not going to figure it out because that defense is really good. Will Anderson is fucking incredible.
Danielle Hunter's having almost a career year right now.
Yeah. CJ
Stroud
just needs a little bit of time. That they got to find a way on move the pocket around and give CJ a chance, and they can win this game. I'm taking the Texans money line, man. I think that they should win this game. At this point, but if they fall to 0-3, this is a kind of a lost season because the Colts are on a completely opposite trajectory.
Yeah. Look, I can't discount this Houston defense. The defense is fucking spectacular. Also, interestingly enough, though, maybe this plays into the spread a little bit. It sounds like last week the Buccaneers gave that last touchdown to Nick Chubb intentionally. They were asked in the locker room, "Hey, did you guys let Nick Chubb in?" And they got an array of different answers in order to give Baker the ball back to go down and win the game, which is an interesting play. Usually you can kind of see that in the game script happening. The announcer or the commentators will be like, "Oh, do you just let the guy walk in so you can give your offense the ball back?" type thing here. But that really wasn't talked about. But then when it was asked in, interviews later, it was the defense didn't have like a correct answer. They all were kind of saying different shit. And so maybe that's a question of like, did Houston truly earn that touchdown by Chubb at the end? And is their offense doing that great? Look, we both really like Stroud. We both really like a lot of the offensive weapons that they do have there, at least in the passing game. I think that the offensive line is atrocious for him. Surprisingly enough, Ed Ingram, former Vikings guard who's down there, one of the worst guards in the league, in my opinion. Highest PFF rated guard out there right now. And that's got to be because the rest of our offensive line is so bad, it's easier to attack off the edges. And you do have teams targeting that. So he's been looking great, apparently, because I don't think he's been getting targeted nearly as much as the rest of that line because that line is so bad. But they got to get it together. This is the make or break week for him. I think D'Amico Ryans knows that. I think that team knows that. So, yeah, I'm taking Houston, but I'm taking the points. If you're going to give me points, I'll fucking take the points.
Okay. Houston plus 1.5.
Yep. Houston plus the 1.5. Next up, New Orleans Saints versus the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are favored at home, minus 7.5 points. Pretty decent spread there. Over under a 41.5. Saints and Rattler have looked meh, but Rattler is better than expected.
Well, Rattler has looked, I think, a little bit better than meh, in my opinion. He has been on time. He understands the offense. So I don't think that the Saints' problems have been Rattler.
All right. Well, on the Seahawks side, they got things figured out last week against that Steelers team. If we do truly think that the Steelers defense is nowhere near as good as they have been in the past, maybe that explains it a little bit. But also getting back into the run game really helped the Seahawks team. And that run game is going to continue this week, except for it's going to be solely focused on Kenneth Walker because Zach Charbonnet is out. So those targets are not going to be going anywhere else. It's going to be going to Kenneth Walker. He's going to be getting the receiving targets and the rushing targets, a heavy run predicated game here, which is why I think that the 7.5 spread is a little bit much because when you go to a run-focused game, they tend to be a little bit lower scoring, which is why the over-under here is 41.5, in my opinion. The over-under makes sense. The spread doesn't make so much sense to me. So I'm going Seahawks on the money line here. I think they're a better team. I think that they're going to run the ball down the Saints' throat because I haven't seen enough to be impressed by the Saints. I'm not as high on Rattler as you are. I think that he's been performing very well, but I still think that makes him middle of the road quarterback in the NFL, potentially bottom third. Not Bryce Young bad, but I guess that's a conversation that we could realistically have. Spencer Rattler or Bryce Young, and I think I'm probably leaning Rattler.
Spencer Rattler. From what I've seen so far this year, Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, but for me, it is Seattle in this game on the money line.
And I'm tailing it because I agree. The spread is too big. Seahawks should be a much better team. I'm pumped for one of my fantasy teams, Kenneth Walker, getting all the carries and will be taking third down responsibilities. I like Charbonnet, but I think Kenneth Walker needs to be their primary guy, man. He is special. So good fantasy outlook for Kenneth Walker coming this week.
And he's on my team. Yeah. All righty. Next up, Denver Broncos going into the Chargers. This could be a fun one because this Broncos team has been good, but they've not looked great the first 2 weeks. Not complete by any means. Maybe Bo Nix starts to figure it out a little bit more. But they're going up against a Chargers team that looks like the real deal right now. Like I've brought up that I think that they need to figure out some stuff with the pass rush. But the offense has looked pretty solid. Not the way that we would expect, though. It's been a passing offense. And Justin Herbert run offense. Quentin Johnston somehow found out football's a lot easier when you use your
catch
hands.
it. Yeah.
Like he's like, what? These aren't bricks. These are hands. I can catch the ball. What the fuck? And that's why he was taken as a first-round pick, was they thought they could develop and teach him he does have hands. And I wouldn't say he's first-round pick worthy right now yet, but he's been doing pretty fucking good.
Pretty goddamn good.
Chargers are favored, though, at home, -3 points, over under of 45.5. This Broncos team, we know that the defense is really good. We know that the offense can be really good. They just haven't put it together yet. Is this going to be the week that they actually start to put it together?
I mean, I think this is going to be a really close game. It's going to be a really good game to watch. I think Bo Nix won't necessarily have a down game. He's going to have to prove, though, he can go and win a shootout against another quarterback who's going to be slinging it, because that's exactly what the Chargers have been doing, man. You talked about it. Keenan Allen, not washed. No. Keenan Allen just went to the Bears. Keenan Allen can still ball. And if Johnson catches the ball, you got McConkey working underneath. You know they're going to be able to run the ball. I don't know who's going to get in the fucking end zone. But, I mean, this Chargers offense is complete. That Chargers defense, it feels fucking complete. Derwin James is a goddamn animal on the back end.
The best safety in the league, I think.
Yeah, agreed, man. So I'm taking Chargers money line in a game that I think is going to be very close, fun game. But this Chargers team just feels like they're it right now.
Yeah, I feel like this is my trap game of the week. I'm also taking Chargers money line, but I just want to voice my opinion. The Broncos at some point are going to put it together. I think that they're too good of a team not to put it together, and it very much so made me think about taking the Broncos plus the points here. Again, the spread is 3 points. If it was 3.5, I think that's enough for me to take the Broncos in this one. So alternate spread of 3.5, I think, is enough to edge me to take the Broncos plus the points here. But because it's within that field goal potential push there, I'm going to take the Chargers on the money line for this one.
All right.
All right, next up, Arizona going into San Francisco. 49ers are favored here, -2.5 points, over under a 44.5. Brock Purdy again practiced a little bit this week, got some people's hopes up, but Mac Jones is going to be the starter once again there for San Francisco. Thoughts on this game, Mike?
Yeah, so this is going to kind of come down to, do you trust Mac Jones to repeat what he did last week? I mean, obviously, we know that Shanahan's going to call a pretty competent offense, but is Mac Jones going to be able to hit enough throws, layer enough throws? This Cardinals defense is much better than I thought they were going to be. They have been kind of flying around. They are creating pressure. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the Cardinals have a pretty good record going into San Francisco. This is a divisional game. So it's going to be close. And this division always plays each other kind of weird. I'm riding the dog here. I'm taking the Cardinals on the money line.
I had serious considerations of this as well. 2.5 points. I would have loved to seen a little bit more action there. Maybe a 3 to really swoop me into it. But I had to give a lot of deep thought about this because Mac Jones, while he performed good enough last week, and you still have guys like Christian McCaffrey and whatnot there, I do think the 49ers are a better team. I'm going 49ers money line, but this was probably the game of the week that I felt least confident in. Just because I think the Cardinals are going to get a dub here sooner or later versus a good team. 49ers are a good team at their weakest right now with Mac Jones being out there. But just not enough for me to take the 2.5 at this point.
Okay.
So I'm going San Francisco money line.
San Francisco money line. All right.
Yeah. Very, very chalky right here for a lot of the favorites.
Yeah.
Next up, Dallas Cowboys versus Chicago Bears. Another spread that actually kind of surprised me here. Bears plus 1.5 points, Cowboys minus 1.5 going into Chicago. Over under of 50.5 points. They're expecting this one to really be a score that gets run up here, which I can see from the Dallas side of the ball. But I'm again not confident at all in this Bears team. For the Bears to only be underdogs by 1.5 points, very surprising to me. So like I'm dropping the 1.5 for Dallas.
Okay.
I feel more confident than I should about that.
All right. Well, listen, I do think that the Cowboys will come out on top of this because the Bears have been kind of bad. But the Cowboys defense has also been really fucking bad. 50.5 sounds like a lot of goddamn points, especially in the NFL. Both of these teams are going to be able to score because both of these teams do not play defense. I am taking another over, and I'm going over 50.5. I think this is your game of the week that just fucking afternoon of touchdown after touchdown after touchdown.
All right. Interesting. I don't have that much faith in the Bears offense, to be completely honest. It's to me, I think Cowboys put up fucking 30 points and Bears maybe 17, which doesn't meet the over for me. I don't think the Bears are as good as the Giants are. And yeah, the Giants, put up that sort of point last week versus the Cowboys. And I do think the Cowboys defense is extremely susceptible. They did just bring in Jadeveon Clowney, also got arrested.
Yeah.
Right after being signed, which was a silly one, to be honest. If anyone's not tracking, Jadeveon Clowney got arrested for a misdemeanor infraction of parking where he shouldn't. He was parking in a parking lot, and the owners of the parking lot said, "You can't park here," and he basically told him, "Suck my dick." I'm paraphrasing a little bit there. I have no idea what he said, and left, and then ended up getting arrested for parking where he shouldn't have parked or something like that. So, yeah, a little bit weird, but welcome to Dallas, I guess. All right, over 50.5 for you on that game. Next up, we have our Kansas City Chiefs versus the New York Giants in New York. Chiefs are favored minus 5.5 points, over under a 44.5. Giants put up a good game versus Dallas last week.
Sure did.
They competed. You also have the Chiefs again without Xavier Worthy already being ruled out. Sounds like this is the week that my guy Royals is finally going to get to play for this Chiefs team. I'm not so sure it's going to provide enough boost to them offensively, like I want to see. But I've got my hopes. I've got my hopes that Jalen Royals will come in and surprise everyone and be like, oh, maybe this guy's a good enough receiver to be starting week in, week out. Mike, where are you going in this one?
I think that what Russell Wilson did last week was cool to see, but it set the Giants back probably like 3 weeks from getting to where they need to start the quarterback that they need to. This is a fucking must-win game for the Chiefs. They cannot fall to 0-3 in their division. The Chargers are too goddamn good. The Broncos are too goddamn good. And the Raiders are fucking scrappy. They cannot fall to 0-3. This is a must-win game. I believe that Andy Reid will get it done with Pat Mahomes taking the Chiefs on the money line.
All right. I'm taking Giants plus the points. I think the Chiefs are not too good right now. I think that they are going to drop 3 in a row. The Giants, yeah, Russ, that's a little bit of an outlier game, but that shows what happens when you play against a defense that's not performing well. Chiefs defense hasn't performed well to me this year. They just haven't. They've not looked great. They've been susceptible to the pass. And that offense, the Giants defense, while they did not play good against Dallas last week, that's a little bit more of an outlier to me. It's their defense, their front seven is really good. They're going to continue to stop that run. When you have Patrick Mahomes as one of the top 10 leading rushers in the NFL, that's not good for your offense, because Pat Mahomes, while he is mobile and can get some yards, he's not like your prototypical running quarterback. He is a off-script quarterback that will get yardage because of that. He shouldn't be getting that many yards. And when you have Brian Burns, who's having a career year, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, those guys who are going to be getting after him, that's scary to me if I'm a Chiefs fan. It's scary to me as a Chiefs fan to know that my offensive weapons are all not good right now. Unless Jalen Royals balls out. I'm taking the Giants plus the 5.5 here because I think the Chiefs could lose this one. I honestly think the Chiefs could lose this one. So if you're going to give me some points on a team that I think that they could lose to, I'll take it. Giants plus the 5.5.
All right. Listen, I completely understand that. Chiefs almost never cover, but they gotta win. This feels like this is their season potentially right here, because the Chargers, if they win, not only are they 3-0, they're fucking 3-0 in division. If the Chiefs fall to 0-3, they can kiss any chance of the division pretty much goodbye.
Yeah, they'd be looking at a wild card spot outside looking in at that point. But that's our Sunday night game. Could be an interesting one if the Giants make it competitive. Look, Malik Neighbors looked fantastic last week, but even more so, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Oh my God! Well, they threw for 450 fucking yards. I mean, dudes were going to put up some numbers.
Yeah, Tyrone Tracy had a good day. Scadaboo's dog out there. Like, everyone on that offense got involved in a good way. So we saw the peak of what the Giants can be. They're not going to be the peak week in and week out, but I don't think they have to be at their peak this week. I think they just have to be competitive to keep it within that 5.5 points. Monday night game, Detroit Lions, Baltimore Ravens, set up to be a good one here, especially after the Lions had a bounce back week last week. Yes, versus the Bears, versus a bad team. So we're getting to see Detroit go up against another good team for the second time this year in the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are favored minus 5.5 points at home on Monday night, over under of 52.5. Both teams have the capability to put up a lot of points. Mike, thoughts on this one?
That's going to be fun. I cannot wait to watch this game. The Lions get back last week. Huge. I mean, they were finding everything that they wanted on offense. Kind of made them feel like that Ben Johnson-led offense again, because they put up a shitload of points. But this Ravens team is very good. Outside of Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things and like making a statement on like why I was the MVP last year, this Ravens team is fucking 2-0. They kicked the shit out of the Browns. They barely lose to Josh Allen. Now, while I think that the Lions are a good team, I don't think that they are as good as they were last year. So I'm taking the Ravens money line. I'm not dropping any points here. These are two very, very good teams. Either team could win this one, but I'm going to take the home team with the Ravens.
Yeah. I had a thought about possibly going with the over on this one, 52.5. Each team has to score 26, 27 points. And I think that's possible with how high powered both these offenses is. I'm really interested to see again how that interior pass rush works against the Lions. I trust that defense for the Ravens a lot more than I trust the Bears defense. And obviously the Packers showed what can be done to that interior offensive line for the Lions. I'm taking the Ravens at home on the money line here as well. I feel like that's the safer bet. Though the 5.5 points for Detroit is also pretty tasty there. I think that's right around the point where it'd be something that you can consider taking if you want a little bit better numbers as far as your gambling lines.
Yeah, sure. All right, brother. That wraps it up for our games. But we got Blitz. Blitz's big ass bet.
Yes, sir. Blitz is coming back to you with another bet. And today we're doing Raiders plus 3 points. A little bit different than what I was picking, but Blitz has a mind of his own. Malik Neighbors getting over 6.5 receptions against that kind of porous Chiefs defense, and Kenneth Walker III being the sole running back there in Seattle in a run-heavy scheme, getting an anytime touchdown, expecting that they are going to utilize him a lot in this game on the game script. That gives you plus 462 odds.
I like the odds. And listen, Kenneth Walker anytime touchdown, I like it too. This is Blitz's second week in a row trying to ride that Kenneth Walker anytime touchdown, I believe. So I know it's the second time it's appeared on this bet. So I'm going to bet it. I hope it hits. Blitz owes us one, man.
Yeah. Look, Blitz is a young pupper. He's learning how to gamble, but he's going to get us a good one here sooner or later.
I feel like this could be the week. This could be it.
Could be. All right. And with that, this is what we're going to be betting for the week. Again, Thursday night didn't go as well for you as it could have, Mike. Just barely didn't meet that spread. But these are our picks for the week. Fade us, follow us. You look at our year totals and tell us what you think. You don't have to bet every single game because we're not getting every game right every week. That's for damn sure. Because if we did, we would be doing this from a fucking mansion.
Yes, we would.
Right? We'd be rolling in the dough. I'd be strapped and cladded in gold chains and have a grill and whatnot, probably, and a Turkish hairdo.
Evo chains
plugs. Yeah, I'd have some sweet hair plugs and be doing this from the mansion. But until we start hitting on every game every week, we've been doing pretty damn good. And so if you take some of our picks, maybe put together a little 3-game, 4-game, 5-game parlay, which is what I did. I've done some 5-game parlays on games I feel good about. And they just keep fucking hitting because I'm going with my gut, the plums here, and what we're seeing out on the field. And it's showing some pretty damn good results.
One of my favorite things to do is I will take the things that we agree on exactly, and I will toss that into a parlay. If we're both feeling good about it, might as well try to make a little bit of money off of it.
Yeah, for sure. But with that, that's our show for the week, Mike.
Hell yeah, brother. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody that tuned in today. This is Raw Dawg Sports. I'm Mike. That's Evo. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. So anytime that you give some of the time to us, we're forever grateful. With that, I'm going to give Evo one last word, and we are going to get the fuck out of here so we can catch some afternoon college football and enjoy time with our friends and family. Enjoy the weekend, people. But Evo, give them one last word.
Don't expect us to be taken down anytime soon. We're not controlled by the FCC in the same way that other people are. So we can come at you with some crazy takes, some insane stuff, but we don't plan on feeding you any misinformation anytime soon. So thank you for tuning in and watching Raw Dawg Sports. Even if you're saying some real out of pocket stuff on the YouTube.
Yeah. Oh man. Appreciate you guys. We will be back Tuesday night to recap all the bets. But until then, we're getting the fuck out of here. See ya.